What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my prize picks plays for UFC Vegas 94. It is Verna Jandiroba going against Amanda Lemos. Very interesting card here. We have 12 fights to work with, and there are some spots sticking out from a prize picks perspective. Can't wait to break it all down. As always, before we get into it, if you guys could like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. If you guys are new to prize picks and want to check out prize picks and use promo code DFSBTN. You'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Let me know down in the comments what plays you are liking from a prize picks perspective. And this video is brought to you by Daily Grind Fantasy. They take the lines from the sports books and they give you the most plus EV plays on prize picks, underdog, and many other daily fantasy websites. Use promo code DFSBTN and get 25% off your first month. The link is in the description for that. But let's get into the prize picks plays here, and we're going to start with the significant strikes, and we're going to go with Jung Young Park more than 67.5 significant strikes. This is a fight that I do think goes 25 minutes. He's going against Brad Tavares, who is pretty durable. I mean, Brad Tavares has been knocked out a few times as of late, but he's getting knocked out by very hard hitters like Bruno Silva, very hard hitters like Gregory Rodriguez, and even Dricus Duplessis wasn't able to put him away. So yeah, Jung Young Park's not really a knockout threat. I think Park has maybe one knockdown in his entire career. So I think this fight goes 15, and I don't think there's going to be much grappling upside here. Brad Tavares has elite takedown defense for the division, some of the best takedown defense in the division for sure. So I don't think Park's going to be able to take him down easy at all. So yeah, I think this fight is going to play out on the feet, and when it does, Park is a high volume striker. I mean, Park's landing almost 5 significant strikes per 15 minutes. So yeah, I think it goes 15, not much grappling. I think there's a good chance for Park to go out there and put up, more than 67.5 significant strikes. So that's what I'm going with for the Park side here. Next, we're going with Muhammad Usman, less than 53.5 significant strikes. Yeah, not the most exciting fight here. Muhammad Usman throws absolutely nothing. He's landing 3.18 significant strikes per minute with a atrocious 37% accuracy. So if this fight was to take place at range for 15 minutes, there's a good chance that he does get, around, 45 to 50 significant strikes. But I do think there's going to be a lot of grappling involved. I do think there's going to be a lot of cage pushing. Thomas Peterson's a wrestler. He's looking to get the fight down to the mat. So I don't think this fight's going to take place at range, at distance for 15 minutes. I think Peterson's going to be looking to get the fight down to the mat, and I think Peterson can get the fight down to the mat. And if he does, Usman's not landing anything on the feet, and even when he's on the feet, he doesn't throw anything. So I think 53.5 is a little bit too much here for Muhammad Usman. I think this fight probably does go to decision. And even if it does, 53.5 for Usman, I think it's a little bit too high, so I'm taking the less on the significant strikes there. Next, we're going with Verna Jandiroba, less than 53.5 significant strikes. And yeah, Verna is a very, very low volume striker, even lower volume than Muhammad Usman. She's landing 2.3 significant strikes per minute with a 38% striking accuracy. So on the feet, she's not landing much at all. And when she does throw, she is more often than not landing. And then if this is on the feet, I think there's a good chance she's getting knocked out because, Amanda Lemos, she's going to have a big striking advantage. And Amanda Lemos hits like an absolute truck as well. So I think, first and foremost, I think this fight does finish inside the distance at some point, whether it's a Verna sub, whether it's a Amanda Lemos knockout. And I just don't see Verna being able to go out there and put up this much volume on Lemos without getting clipped, without getting hurt. I think Verna's going to do what she does in every fight, and that's going to be sell out for that wrestling, for that grappling, and that's why you see her not really land much at all in any of her fights, because she's looking to get the fight down to the mat more often than not. The one outlier was that Dern fight, where Verna Jandiroba did put up a good amount of significant strikes, but I do think here it'd be very wise for Verna to sell out for the grappling, and I think that's what's going to happen. So I just think there's a lot of avenues for this to hit, whether it's Verna, getting takedowns, getting control time, getting a sub, and then on the feet, I think Amanda Lemos is going to have a field day. So I like the less on the Verna significant strikes. 53.5, although it's a 5-round fight, I still think that is a little bit too high for my liking. Next, we have Steve Garcia. We're going to the fantasy score now, and we're taking the more on the 77.5 fantasy score. If Steve Garcia is winning this fight, he's going to obliterate this fantasy score because I think somebody's getting finished here, and I think somebody's getting finished within the first round and a half. This fight is actually juiced to go under. I think it's like minus 180 to go under 1.5 rounds. And you can kind of see why with these two. These two guys, Steve Garcia, Sung Woo Choi, have combined for a total of 20 knockdowns, for and against, between the two of them in the UFC careers. They have a ton of power. They can get knockdowns. I think they can get knocked down as well. And I think there's a good chance that Steve Garcia probably does get knocked down. He gets knocked down in every single fight. So, yeah, Garcia 46% strike and defense. Sung Woo Choi 47% strike and defense. I think somebody's getting served here, but I think that somebody's Sung Woo Choi. You know, Choi's not looked that great as of late. I think the chin of Choi is very worrisome. That Trezano fight was an absolute terrible look. Like, Trezano's not doing that to anybody, and Trezano went out there and starched Choi, knocked him down like 3 times in that fight. Steve Garcia's a dog. He'll get dropped, he'll get back up, and he has a ton of power. So I like Steve Garcia to win this fight, and like I said, if he's winning this fight, he's scoring well over 100 fantasy points. So I think 77.5 is a little bit too low for Steve Garcia here. Next, we have Muhammad Usman. Fantasy score, I'm taking the less here. I think it's going to be a boring fight. I think it's going to be a terrible fight, like most Muhammad Usman fights are. On the feet, like I said, he's landing nothing. And I think there's a good chance that this fight can, like I said, play out a lot in the clinch. Thomas Peterson can get on top. I think this fight goes to decision. I don't see Usman finishing Peterson, so he's 79.5, and I'm actually picking Peterson to win as well. So just another reason I like the less on the Usman fantasy score. He literally does nothing. And I think about 80 on the fantasy score. That's too high for somebody that goes out there and just does nothing. So give me the less on the fantasy score for Muhammad Usman. Next, we're going to go with a couple fight time props here. And we're going with Jung Young Lee, less than 12.5 minutes on the fight time. This is probably one of the more, if not the most exciting fight on the entire card. I think it's between this fight and the Steve Garcia Sung Woo Choi fight. But Jung Young Lee has actually went the distance in his last 2 fights against Yi Zha. Went 15 minutes against Blake Bilder. Went 15 minutes, but in the Zha fight, Zha pretty much tried to take him down and hold him down for 15 minutes. In the Bilder fight, Bilder didn't even show up and won a fight. Whereas with Haider Emil, I think he's going to be bringing a different style than both those guys. Haider Emil is going to create an absolute car crash. Haider Emil is going to eat one to give one. Haider Emil is going to walk through the fire, and I think that's going to lead towards somebody probably getting served in this matchup. Jung Young Lee hits like an absolute truck. Haider Emil, like I said, he's going to eat one to give one, and that could end up pretty poorly for him. So I think Jung Young Lee's very live to finish Haider Emil, and Haider Emil, he's live to finish in his own right as well. So 12.5 minutes, give me the less here. I think there's a good chance somebody gets served at some point in this fight. Next, we have another less here. It's a low one, but it's one that I think should go less here. It's Steve Garcia, less than 5.75 minutes fight time. We talked about it. We talked about how these guys get knockdowns, how these guys get knocked down. We talked about their trash strike and defense, their trash durability. I think somebody's getting served here, probably in the first round. I don't think either guy is going to grapple. I don't think either guy is going to get this fight down to the mat. So yeah, these guys are just going to stand and bang until one man falls. I could see like multiple knockdowns in this fight, but either way, I think somebody's getting served, somebody's getting hurt bad, and somebody's getting flatlined in this one. I like the less than 5.75 minutes on the fight time for Steve Garcia. And a couple more here. Going with another less here. It's going to be a Kenyan Krzyzewski, less than 12.5 minutes on the fight time. Going against Kurt Hollabaugh. Both these guys are very good finishers. Some of the best finishers on the entire card. We got Krzyzewski with a 87% finish rate. Hollabaugh with an 85% finish rate. Krzyzewski's been finished in both of his losses. Both come by knockout. Kurt Hollabaugh's been knocked out before. Kurt Hollabaugh's been sub before. Hollabaugh's getting up there in age. See, I just think there's a lot of ways for this fight to finish. We could see, Hollabaugh has a good submission game, maybe catch Krzyzewski in a sub. We could absolutely see Hollabaugh touch the chin of Krzyzewski, who's been finished multiple times. We could see Krzyzewski land a big shot or something in this fight as well. See, a lot of avenues for this to finish. Give me the less than 12.5 minutes fight time. And then last, we have a takedown prop that I like here. It's going to be Cody Durden, more than 2.5 takedowns, spot that I don't mind here, just because this is a guy in Cody Durden who's averaging almost 5 takedowns per 15 minutes. What I am worried about is him potentially getting subbed or clipped, but if this fight does get extended at all, I think he can hit this in the first round. I think he's going to be selling out for the wrestling. He's not going to want to stand and strike with Bruno Silva. Give me the more than 2.5 takedowns for Cody Durden. Yeah, guys, there you guys have it. Those are the spots sticking out from a PrizePicks perspective. Again, let me know down in the comments what you guys are liking from a PrizePicks perspective this week. Plays you guys are liking. If you guys could, like on your way out, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, best of luck for UFC Vegas 94. Should be an interesting one this week. See you guys later.